Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a little bit different. When I posted my apartment tour video last week, I got a lot of questions and comments from people saying, why do you live alone? Why do you not live with your parents? And things like that. And to me, that was just a bit surprising because I thought to myself, I'm a 30-year-old independent person. Why should I not live by myself? In other cultures, it's a very natural progression that when you are an adult, you move out of the house that you grew up in, the house of your parents, and you sort of make your own way into the world. But with more conservative cultures like Indian culture, especially for women to be living by themselves and not living with their parents is such a big deal and such a topic of discussion that compels people to ask why do you live alone when you have that option of living with your family, with your parents. Now, because this is a subject I deeply care about, I thought it would be nice to kind of do a separate video about it, kind of just examine why people live alone, the merits and demerits of living alone, and what it means differently for men and women. Now, a situation where you're living by yourself, generally in the Indian context, can result out of either you moved away for studies or for work, you get admission in a college, or you get a job in a different city and then you move, and that's considered quite acceptable for most people. Then the second reason you could end up living alone is if your relationship status changes. If your live-in partner, your boyfriend, your husband, you go through a breakup and then you are living by yourself. So for me, I have lived alone in both of these situations. I lived by myself for the first time when I moved away from my home for studying, for work, and then when I got divorced again, I was living by myself. Another third rare case is when you are living with a parent or your parents and they pass away, and for a lot of people that is the situation where they end up in, where they are by themselves. I think the how and the why is not really important, but I do think living alone, living by myself has taught me so many things that no other experience could have taught me. So on my Instagram, I asked you guys to just write to me with your experiences of living by yourself, and the one very common theme that emerges is it teaches you how to be independent. And I mean that both financially and emotionally. So emotionally, you learn to be independent because you learn how to take care of yourself. You are responsible for shopping for groceries, preparing your food. I mean, you might have someone who comes and cooks for you, but you're still responsible for providing them with the ingredients and just setting up the kitchen and things. You learn how to manage your finances, your bills, your rent, your grocery expenses, things like that. You're also responsible for maintaining your space. Is it clean? Is it well organized? Again, you might have someone who comes in and helps you with the cleaning, but overall it is still your responsibility. So you are responsible for pretty much everything, how your life functions in a physical sense. You are responsible for your finances, and you're responsible also emotionally, because you learn to sort of manage your emotions, to soothe yourself when you are not feeling very good, to take care of yourself when you're sick and there's no one really to help you with that. So emotionally, financially, physically, you just become so much more self-reliant and independent. Now, in some situations, people might have young children or pets who are dependent on them, and in that case, even though that's not technically living alone, but still you are the one in charge, you are the one responsible for their well-being. So that adds another layer of responsibility, but again, handling that responsibility just gives you more maturity. It gives you just a lot more confidence that you can handle a lot of situations and you can take care not only of yourself but other living things as well. I think overall it is such a life affirming and character building experience when you live by yourself, that nothing else really can replicate that. Another aspect of living by yourself is you learn to appreciate everything that your parents did for you, because only when you run a house by yourself you realize it takes time, it takes energy, it takes effort, it takes money to maintain a household in a good way. So you have a deeper appreciation for everything that your parents did for you, raising you and providing you with a nice environment and, caring for you. So I feel that's another aspect, that you just have a little more gratitude that you received that as a child. And this brings me to another aspect of moving out of your parents' house and living alone, and that is, it finally gives your parents a chance to focus on themselves, their hobbies and their interests, because when you are growing up and you're living at home, it's their sort of round the clock job to be taking care of you. But once you move away, they are forced to sort of focus on themselves. Like for most parents, once their kids move away is the time when they're able to sort of rediscover their hobbies and interests, because they have all this extra time at their disposal and they don't know what to do with it. So I think overall it's such a healthy thing. When you move away, you learn how to take care of yourself and prepare yourself, to venture out in the world, and your parents get a chance to sort of focus on themselves and, just find joy in their interests again. Another aspect of living alone is the freedom. You are free to do whatever you want with your space. You can decorate your space in whichever way you want. So if you want to have purple curtains and pink bed sheets, you can totally do that, and there's no one telling you, oh, let's go with neutral colors. You can keep your space as organized as you want, or you can keep your space as messy as you want. You can wear whatever you want, you can stay naked if you want, you can eat, not eat, whatever you feel like. So you have that sort of complete freedom to just do what you want, as there's no one else sort of trying to police you in any way. Now, coming to some of the not so good aspects of living by yourself. For some people, I think loneliness could be a big issue. If they are more extrovert, they like interacting with people and having more people around them. For them, living by themselves could be, just not very nice. But again, I feel like it teaches you to be self-reliant and to emotionally fulfill yourself and find interests and hobbies to occupy your time and your mind. Another aspect, which I feel most acutely, is there are times when you are unwell, where you need support, where you're going through something difficult, and having just that extra support of your family, your partner, can really ease your burden. So that can be one of the downsides. Like in this pandemic situation right now, I think it would have been nice to be quarantined with another person rather than being by myself, because it gives you company, you get some support, and overall that can be a good thing. So these are just a few downsides, but for me personally, I feel like the positives, the merits of living alone outweigh the demerits completely. Living by yourself teaches you important life skills, and I think it's important for both men and women, because for women, especially in Indian culture, we are raised with just so much patriarchy. We're never really taught to be independent, to be self-reliant, to have our own opinions and everything. So for me, that kind of growth came only from living alone and sort of handling everything by myself. So for women, I think especially it teaches you independence when you live by yourself. And for men, I think it's equally important to live by themselves, because then they can learn how to take care of themselves without having to rely on a mom or a wife or a girlfriend to feed them, to clothe them, and to, maintain the house for them. These are important life skills that every person, whether you're a man or a woman, should know. And again, for both genders, it teaches you how to handle your money, and that is again a very important life skill which only comes from when you handle your finances by yourself. There's another thing that some of you mentioned on Instagram when you DM'd me sharing your experiences of living alone, especially as a woman in India, was that there are a lot of people like neighbors, relatives, etc., who will comment on you living by yourself. Somehow they kind of make it look like you're doing something wrong, or maybe you're living alone just so you can have male company over, and they try to just sort of make it look like something really wrong, or something to be ashamed about, whereas it's absolutely not. It's the most natural thing as a grown-up adult to be living by yourself. And on the subject of male company, even if you want to have your friends, your boyfriend, your partner, anyone over to your house, you are an adult and it's completely in your right and nobody else's business if you're doing that. I think you learn to develop a thicker skin. You kind of learn to sort of disregard and not really be affected by comments by people who don't really matter in your life. And even if from people who matter, you just learn to develop a thicker skin and not really sort of get upset when people try to imply things like these. So overall, I think living alone is something that everyone should get a chance to do at some point. Early on, the better, because when you're younger, it just teaches you life skills. It's character building, in my opinion, and all those skills, all those life skills, necessary life skills, come in handy as you grow older. It makes you really responsible, it makes you independent, it makes you self-aware, it makes you more calm and just more mature as a person, and it makes you just so self-reliant that you just feel braver and stronger, and you're able to handle a lot of things by yourself later on in life. So if you are someone who has that opportunity or who is considering living independently, definitely do it. It's a life-changing experience. It's something that's going to make you much stronger, much more independent, and it'll just benefit you later in life, definitely. I can tell you from personal experience, I feel like a completely different person living by myself, especially as I've gotten a little older. So my late 20s versus my early 20s, I just feel such a difference in the kind of person I am, and I think a lot of it I can contribute to living by myself and sort of fending for myself and being independent. And that is all for today's video. I know it's such a different and random topic, but in case you enjoyed it, please do let me know in the comment section below, so that I know that you would still be interested in watching more videos on subjects like these. Don't forget to subscribe. Please click on the bell icon so that you're notified every time I put up a new video. And that's all for now. See you soon in my next video. Bye.